10 days, 3 provincial parks, and a lot of kilometers.
We started our journey from Kitchener, Ontario, and it took about just over 4 hours to get to Grundy Lake with one stop to refuel. It was a gorgeous drive, a beautiful day, and we just headed right in to find our site and to start setting up.
So we are staying at site number 416 at Grundy Lake, and I wanted to give you a tour of it. This is honestly one of the most beautiful sites I've ever stayed on in a provincial park. I'm absolutely in love with it. So let me give you a little tour.
We are staying in Red Maple Campground, and this site is a non-electric site, but it is absolutely humongous. So for our little pop-up trailer and vehicle, we had an easy time pulling that in, setting up, and there was still tons of room on our campsite. It was full coverage with lots of trees and the sun poking up, but this was the highlight. Right from our campsite, right from the middle, there's a little pathway, and yes, there's a big sign there, and you do need to watch your step as you come down, but this takes us directly to the beach. It is absolutely beautiful, so gorgeous. On our first day here, to have this view and to check it out just took my breath away. After setting up and getting the views and kind of getting ourselves settled in, we did want to celebrate this beginning, this journey with a delicious steak dinner, and oh my, did it ever hit the spot. We cleaned up, settled into the night, watched the sunset again from that little path on the beach, and enjoyed a beautiful evening by the campfire to finish off our first night at Grundy Lake. Our first morning at the park brought us a completely different view of the beach, but the sun did come out and it was absolutely gorgeous weather for our first full day there. We decided to start exploring the park with first a nice hike. There is a hike called the Swan Lake Trail that is a loop, and it was absolutely a beautiful day. We wanted to get our steps in. We wanted to get exploring and checking out what this park has to offer. The views were absolutely spectacular on this hike.
So the Swan Lake Trail was exceptional. I am so overwhelmed with the beauty and the views. I would say that this trail is definitely moderate, not because of the length or duration, but because of the terrain. You're really going up a bunch of rocks and different formations, and there's a lot of roots coming out of the ground from the trees. So you really want to watch where you're going when you're on this trail, but it is so worth it. The views are spectacular.
We did also just find some areas where we could walk from our campsite and through a little bit of the woods over to the lake. Lots of nice little lookouts and places that you can just roam around and walk and enjoy taking in all those views. This place is absolutely stunning.
So although the comfort station is a bit of a hike from our site, there are these vault toilets that you see in parks all the time. Not my favorite, so I don't use them. But because we're here a little bit later in the season, they are a little stinky. Like, I can smell it right now, standing right here. Not my favorite. Not my favorite.
So let's just enjoy a little bit more of the view and a little bit of dinner.
Grundy Lake has easily moved to the top of my list of places I have stayed in Parks, Ontario. It is absolutely stunning here. I have had 2 nights here, probably 2 and a bit days, but we are getting up nice and early today to go to our next stop. So I kind of wish I was here for one more night to experience a bit more of Grundy Lake Provincial Park. All right, off we go, leaving Grundy Lake Provincial Park, heading to Lake Superior. And one thing I may have misstepped on when planning this was that I forgot today is Labor Day. Labor Day in Ontario means most things are closed. Grocery stores, that kind of stuff that you might need to replenish on a trip. So here is hoping that I packed enough to get us through, and also that maybe the gas stations and convenience stores that are open today maybe have some stuff that we need. Here's hoping.
We have about a 6-hour journey to get to Agawa Bay in Lake Superior, and of course stopping in Sudbury. Thankfully, I picked up some essentials. I am known to overpack with food, so we are going to be okay for the next few days. And as soon as we saw signs of Lake Superior, we had to pull over at the first lookout. I mean, look at that water. It was breathtaking. So excited to finally get to the park. And of course, our site to start setting up.
We made it all the way to Lake Superior Provincial Park, and we are all set up on our campsite. I'm so excited to show you our site and sort of where it's situated and around the park. I am already in love with the views and this spot.
We are on site number A149, a corner site, and it was actually a lot more private than I had thought from booking it. Lots of tree coverage behind and to the side, and just the opening to the front. But come on, I mean, nothing beats this view. After setting up, we were pretty hungry from our journey, so I got the pasta going as we watched the sun starting to come down, watching it right on the lake. After that, I really wanted to go check out the actual lake and temperature of the water, which was very frigid. And having to walk on that beach, which was quite rocky, was painful on my feet. So that's why I am stumbling around a touch. But the water was so clear. Everything smelled so good. And it was our perfect first night to watch that sunset on the beach right across from our site and just enjoy, take in the view, and get maybe a touch overwhelmed by just the beauty of this. We woke up, stepped out of the camper and saw that view, and we knew it was going to be a gorgeous day, so we wanted to get out and exploring. We started with the pictographs, which was just a short drive down the road, and it was a little bit of a challenge kind of getting down to where the pictographs are. Lots of rocks, little bits of trails, a little bit of a challenging way to get down there, but definitely worth it. Just make sure you're wearing good shoes and you're comfortable. Nothing is beating the views in this area. I think everywhere I am going up in this northern part, the views are just breathtaking. I'm trying to take it in as much as I can. The actual pictographs were super cool, really interesting history, and a little bit challenging and slippery at times getting all the way across this area, but so fantastic.
So surprisingly, I don't know what I was expecting. I have seen videos of people coming to see the pictographs, and it was way more challenging than I thought, walking those rocks and not slipping, just going slow and holding on. Everything was great. To me, it felt magical. I really enjoyed it, and looking up at these giant rocks, I mean, it takes your breath away. Highly recommend.
Our next stop was, again, just a couple moments down the road and across the way to Sand River Falls. There is a little parking lot there and a trail just to follow right along with the falls, going from the bottom to the top of the falls. If you're scared of heights, you might want to just be careful getting too close to the edge. It does get a little spooky, but it is stunning. We could have spent hours and hours here. We saw people picnicking on the rocks, and you can get really close. You can just sit on the rocks in the middle of these falls and just listen to the sound and take in the beauty of it. Really could have spent more time there, but off we went again down the road and wanted to check out this little place called Catherine Cove. Now, I've been told and watched many different videos that have said this is where Bathtub Island Island is. And I wanted to swim over to Bathtub Island and hang out there, as I've seen many people do. However, the wind had picked up, so we decided to just enjoy the view and then continue on with our day and explore a little bit more of the actual park, check out some of the different sites in Lake Superior Provincial Park, and just tour around a touch. There are actually quite a few sites that are right along the actual highway, so if you are not interested in hearing the trucks go by, those are some of the sites you might want to avoid. Up next, I jumped into the very cold lake. It felt very much like a cold plunge, but because I didn't get to find that Bathtub Island, I needed to get into the lake. And then I warmed up on the beach in the sun, followed by a delicious warm meal to warm the soul afterwards. Just something simple. Franken beans, a little bit of toast, and another sunset.
Okay, so I think we're calling it 50-kilometer wind gusts, a lot of rain, like an inch and a half of rain coming. All right.
A ton of rain overnight, but luckily it broke in the morning for a little bit before the next round, so we did have a chance to pack up and hit the road.
Like, it's raining. It's not raining a little bit. It's raining a lot. Oh my gosh, a pivot in our plans, I would say. So a slight change in plans, and you know what? We are totally okay with it. We decided, watching the Weather Network and the storm that was coming was going to be a lot. And the fact that it wasn't going to be nice for the next 2-3 days in Lake Superior anyway after that, we made the call, we packed up early, and decided to come to Sault Ste. Marie on a last-minute whim and grab a hotel for the night. And you know what? Waking up this morning with drops of rain coming into our tent trailer was also a little bit of a, maybe we should get this taken care of. So on our way into Sault Ste. Marie, we actually stopped at an RV place. They helped us out. We got a couple things to sort of patch these little pin drop holes that we found, because there might be a little bit more rain in the forecast. And here's the thing. I don't mind rain. It's part of camping. But it was an inch and a half of rain that was coming down, 50-kilometer wind gusts. Like, it was going to be us sitting in that trailer bracing for whatever might happen. So that's why we made the call. And we spent 2 glorious days in Lake Superior doing as much as we possibly could. And we did. And it was fantastic. And being halfway through our trip at this point, it's kind of nice. We had hot showers. I got to wash my hair. We did a whole bunch of laundry, so we have everything that we need nice and clean for the rest of our trip. We ended up being able to check in early here at the Quattro Hotel. The lady on the phone was so nice. She set us up with a very close to the laundry as well. So, I mean, it's kind of been not bad. We explored Sault Ste. Marie, went out to eat, checked out some breweries, like lots of different things just to kind of spend our time here, not just sitting around. And now we're actually an hour and a half closer to our next destination, because we are heading to Killarney next. And we were able to get a campsite and add an extra night. So now we're spending 4 nights there instead of 3, which is fantastic. I'm really excited about this leg of our trip as well, because everything's been amazing. So how could Killarney not be amazing?
Okay, so we have another 4.5 hours of driving to get to Killarney, and we're going to make a quick pit stop in Sudbury to refuel and get some supplies and food for the rest of this trip. We pulled up to Killarney Provincial Park, checked in, and got our site. It's a little bit wet, but we tried to clean a few things off. This is site 126. We're just here for 1 night, but I absolutely love the site. It has a rock wall on one side, enough room for our trailer vehicle, 2 picnic tables, and lots of greenery, lots of great trees, and great tree coverage. There's a little pathway right there that actually goes right to the comfort station, so it's super close, which I really like.
All right, we made it to beautiful Killarney. We are on a gorgeous site for one night before we move just down the road. We already checked out the next site. It's a little cooler. That rain brought colder temperatures, so I'm in a toque and a sweater and a vest to stay warm. But I'm really excited for sweater weather camping. I think it's going to be amazing.
After getting all set up, of course, we wanted to explore the park while the daylight was still shining, and the views were incredible. We did it all on foot, just walked around and tried to check out where there might be a path leading to, some different views. We also did look at the park map and found where we can head to the beach, a little bit of a longer walk to get there. But, it's colder, so there aren't a lot of people on the beach. Still a gorgeous view, a great place to sit down and enjoy the day, have a little picnic. We did work up an appetite, and of course, stopping in Sudbury to get groceries. We had lots of fresh food, so I decided we were going to do smash burgers for our first night at camp. You can probably tell by now in this video, I love my griddle and I love cooking at camp. That burger hit the spot.
All right, so we are on site 58 in Killarney. Yesterday, we actually moved sites. And because it was crazy wind warnings, we didn't set up everything on our site. So we're finally settled and feeling good. A bit of a scary day. The site right beside us had a humongous tree come down. Thankfully, no one was on the site. No one was hurt. Everything was okay. But whew, what a scary day. We weren't even here for it. We saw the bad weather, decided to go into town and just check out town, go to the little general store, have some fish and chips for lunch, which was great. And we saw the storm come in while we were there and came back to sort of that crazy site. So we are settled now. I'm going to give you a little tour of our site, and we are excited for the next couple days because we are going to do some hiking, exploring, hopefully some canoeing. Whatever we decide to get up to, I will share.
All right, so let me show you around site 58. So 2 picnic tables, really nice and level, beautiful trees all around, but you can probably already see the cars and the tents that are surrounding this site. So this park is full while we're here, so there are campers everywhere, including all around us, front, back, side, everywhere. So the privacy on this site is not as good as the last site that we had, but that would be probably the only downfall of this particular site. Otherwise, we very much love it. A little bit of shade, a little bit of sunlight, and lots of space. We are ready to start the day. I'm going to make us breakfast, a bacon, egg, cheddar, and home fry wrap to get us fueled for the day. And then we're going to get started and continue on exploring the area.
Okay, so today we are going to go on an adventure, a hiking adventure to a hike called the Crack in Killarney. And this is rated quite a bit of a difficult hike. From what I read online, an experienced hiker can do this hike in about 4 hours. Now, I wouldn't call myself an experienced hiker, but I like hiking. I do it a lot. So we'll see how long it takes. But also I'm going to stop and take some photos and videos. So I'll kind of see about how much time that adds to my trek. You do need a permit to go to the Crack, so you just have to register for the day and you can go anytime. Off we go and we'll see how it goes.
The Crack Trail is an 8-kilometer trail out and back, and this trail has an elevation gain of 268 meters. Now, when you start the trail, it looks pretty flat and easy, and uniquely to us today, we did have to maneuver around some fallen trees from the storm the previous day, but that's not typical. So the first 20 to 30 minutes of this trail were pretty leisurely and easy and flat. But once you pass this bridge, that's where I found it started to get into that more difficult terrain. There were a lot of roots coming out of the ground, so you needed to watch your step. And then you started to see those inclines and hills. So this is where your stamina comes into place, and you want to make sure that you're really nice and careful and get yourself through that trail with a little bit of energy. The rock climbing was difficult. We did have a little bit of rain while we were doing this hike to start, so the rocks were quite slippery. Really good shoes were really important on this one, but what a wonderful challenge. The other thing was that the trail was really well marked, so even though you're climbing these rocks and going through these unusual paths, you knew exactly where you were going because the markers were right there. You can certainly stop once you reach the viewpoint, or you can continue up and really climb all the way up to the summit to get those additional views quite a bit higher and quite a bit more difficult.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see my sweat, but I'm sweating. That was one of the most challenging hikes. Don't let the first 15 minutes fool you. It's flat and gorgeous and easy. And as soon as you start hitting the rocks, it is difficult and scary at times. Not for the faint of heart. You have to wear good hiking shoes. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I'm finding spots where my feet are getting in between giant rocks, and I just need to get a good push up, and good tread and good shoes are so important on this one. Let me just show you the views. The crazy thing is that the hike up was intense and tough, but now we have to do it all the way back and all the way down, and I think that's going to be a little trickier. Probably going to put the camera away for all of it, just safety first kind of thing. Whew. Okay, so we just finished the crack hike, and if you are physically able to do it, I would highly recommend the challenge. It was absolutely incredible. I am so no words, just very difficult, but so rewarding, and I'm so glad that I did that, and it was a bucket list item that I think you should add to your list. A couple things that I might give you a few tips on, just things that I think are important on a hike like this. I already said it, but of course, hiking shoes, boots, proper footwear, it's necessary for a hike like this. For me, long pants, because you're going up through all of these rocks for a lot of the hike. There's a ton of opportunities to scratch your legs and get injured, so I like having that layer between myself and my skin. I actually didn't bring gloves, but after this hike, I think gloves would be great, like rock climbing gloves or something, because I found myself hanging onto rocks and reaching and grabbing and sliding just for safety on a lot of the terrain there. So I would probably bring a pair of gloves next time. I always pack a backpack. Water, hydration, of course. I think a couple snacks are great too, because this is a long hike. So trail mix or granola bars, a sandwich. There's lots of opportunity on the mountain view to sit down and have lunch, and it's a perfect way to do it. The temperature was about 10 to 12 degrees today on the hike. So layers I thought were really important. You can always adjust your temperature if you have something you can put on or something you can take off during your hike. And I'm just going to pat myself on the back on this one, because I looked at the Fitbit and our trail and what we did for the hike today. We definitely pushed ourselves on some of the flat terrain, and we did it in 3 hours and 7 minutes.
After that climb comes comfort, and we're having comfort food around the campfire, grilled cheese sandwiches and some tomato soup, and really just a relaxing afternoon and evening, resting our feet, relaxing, enjoying the nice weather. The rain stopped, and we're going to just call it a night. Another beautiful day, and today we want to get on the water, so we actually rented a canoe from Killarney Outfitters. They have them already at the park at the beach, so you just rent them at the store. They give you a key and you have the full day to explore on the water. This turned out to be the perfect day for a paddle. It's still a little bit cool, but the wind has calmed down. There's no rain. The sun is coming through the clouds. The water is so calm and so beautiful. This is George Lake. We spent about 2 hours paddling this lake.
This is one of the most beautiful paddles I've ever done. Wow.
Being my first time at Killarney and this whole trip being in a new area for me, it really was breathtaking. I really tried to take it in and take our time and just really enjoy the weather, the water, and the views. And of course, after a good couple hours on the paddle, we got to head back to camp and eat because I love food, but we're taking it easy. We're just going to make a fresh soup. I have lots of leftover veggies, so I'm just going to get that going, get that sauteed up, add a little bit of stock and some tortellini, and that's going to be a really nice light lunch today and warm up the soul as well. And even though I am sore from hiking the crack yesterday, we decided we're going to go for another hike. The Granite Ridge Trail is just across the street from the entrance of the park, and it is a lot shorter, but I am going to tell you, it is still quite difficult. Again, as you start the trail, it's nice and flat, and then here come the hills and the rocks. So not nearly the hike that the crack was, but I would kind of call this like the mini crack. But the views are also spectacular because you do get quite a bit of elevation on this hike as well. So if you maybe want to do just the smaller one, this one is just as beautiful, but quite a bit smaller and not nearly as challenging.
Just finished the Granite Ridge Trail and it was awesome. It was probably just around an hour, a little bit less if you keep a good speed. I would say moderate for this one because it does have some easy spots where you're just walking on a regular trail, but there are a lot of areas where there's rocks and roots, and then a few times you're going to get an incline on those rocks where you really have to climb. But the view when you get to the top is phenomenal, so it's super worth it.
Back to our campsite for an afternoon of relaxation, some hammock time reading, and just relaxing, enjoying another delicious hearty dinner. You know, I'm going to show you lots of food on all of my camping trips because it's part of my love language and it's part of what makes me happy at camp. Burning a bunch of energy and then eating a bunch of delicious carbohydrates. Another campfire, another gorgeous day, and off to bed we go.
Site 58 here at Killarney was absolutely lovely. There's a lot of things that I really liked about it. It was very level, easy to get the tent trailer in. It was moderately close to the comfort station, a little bit of a walk, but I mean, you could easily take your bike or drive if you urgently need to go. Lots of tree coverage, a good mix of sun and shade. There were 2 really great trees that were perfect for putting a hammock up, and I love a good afternoon hammock nap. The only thing I didn't love about the site is that it certainly doesn't have as much privacy as some of the other sites that I have experienced in other parks. And even in this park, we started on site number 126 for one night here, and it had a lot more privacy. And I was a bit worried because it was really close to the comfort station, but that didn't bother me at all. Here, because we are surrounded by people, especially because the park is full. I mean, I could hear our neighbors snoring early this morning, so not as private as I would love. If I come back to Killarney again, when I come back to Killarney again, because I absolutely loved it here, I would book 126 again. And if you are a car camper or just camping in a tent, Site number 63 will blow your mind.
I definitely needed to give you just a peek at this site. This is only for tent campers. You can't get an RV or a trailer down here, but it's a humongous site. And the thing that just took my breath away is when you are on this site, all you have to do is walk a little bit through these tiny trees. There's some pathways, and this is your view. I mean, if I had this site and I was tent camping, I would be sitting out here reading a book, having my coffee every single day.
Overall, this park has stolen my heart. I actually had a little cry last night. Did not turn the camera on for that. No reason to see it. I'm just not ready to go home. This part of Ontario is more beautiful than I could have even imagined, and pictures do not do it justice. You have to come and see it for yourself. This 10-day journey has been an absolute incredible one. First time doing a trip this long. It had its ups and downs, but honestly, I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I'm already planning next year, and I highly recommend you check out the 3 parks that we have visited because they are all at the top of my list of places I would love to come back to. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you subscribe so that you can see where Sylvia goes next.
We can't pack up before having breakfast and showing you at least one more food shot. Cheers.